We have more on the whole Alex Jones being banned situation. It's pretty funny to watch, you know, Republicans flipped over when it comes to private businesses. This sort of a thing I talked about when PragerU filed their lawsuit against YouTube and lost. Number one, they were claiming that there was some political motivation, which is false, because pretty much all left-wing channels get demonetized just like his did. And a private business can do what they want, so you shouldn't have the government say, remonetize them, but it should be, we need to pressure YouTube as, you know, people to be like, yo, monetize that shit because it's wrong. But anyways, you guys may know this host on InfoWars. Her name's Millie Weaver. I don't know too much about her, to be honest with you. She seems indistinguishable from, you know, all the other, you know, girl hosts on there. Just these sort of people who don't know jack shit. They're complete imbeciles. There's some girl named Ashton Birdie. She was the girl who went up to, asked, you know, why are you a socialist? And she was like, oh, in Venezuela, they're eating rats. So, not too bright of people over at InfoWars. Not too bright at all. So, here's something really hilarious. Because, of course, the idea is that these companies are private businesses. And so, they're not subject to First Amendment regulations. Here's the funniest thing. Here's what Millie Weaver sent out on Twitter. This is quite possibly one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my entire life. So, she sent out saying, Dear libtards who think Facebook is a privately owned business, there's a thing called fact-checking. Facebook is a public business that's publicly traded. Using that argument to justify banning Alex Jones doesn't work. And now there's, you know, Wikipedia thing. It's this type of business and it says public. Now this is a really, really dumb fucking statement. Because when it says public, what does that mean? It doesn't mean it's governmentally owned, or that it's a governmental entity, or that it's a branch of the government. This is not some, you know, it's not public universities who get their funding from the government. No, it's none of that shit. None of that. You know what it is? It's publicly traded, and the business is owned privately by its shareholders. That doesn't mean that somebody who doesn't own a share is somehow has a part in the business. That's not how that shit works. And this is hilarious because she has no clue. She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She doesn't know anything. She doesn't know what, like, at all. Here's the funniest part, by the way. She doubled down on this. She says, apparently, progressives, in quotation marks, can't read. I simply pointed out that cliche argument that Facebook can censor Alex Jones because they're a privately owned business doesn't work. Why? Because it's a factually incorrect. Bad grammar, too. Facebook is a public business. It's not public in the sense that it is bound by First Amendment regulations of free speech. It's not a governmental entity. It's not funded by the government. None of that shit. None of that whatsoever. That's not what it is. It's not even like a public university where, you know, my argument is a public university can't ban anybody from speaking because they are recipients of government dollars and therefore they have to abide by the First Amendment. That's not even the situation here. This is a private fucking business. They have their own terms of service. They're not bound by any governmental regulation whatsoever. And the funniest part about this is she really does think that she's like some kind of like an owner zing of these libtards. Man, it really hurts. It hurts on many levels because seeing people who are this fucking stupid is pretty painful just for the human race as a whole. But man, like it's really tough to wrap my mind around how Republicans go from talking about, you know, it's a private business, it's a private business, it's a private business, you can't do this, private business. And then like 2 seconds later when their favorite, you know, guy, Alex Jones, the crazy man, goes on and gets censored, all of a sudden now you flip-flop on that issue, which is a truly remarkable flip that I don't know if I'll ever really be able to grasp my mind around, because this sort of a flip-flop is, you know, one that is, I don't know about unseen, but it is quite weird, I must say.